All right, it's Masada 2016, Session 2, the personal vows. And the personal vows are to be a man of integrity, a man of honor, and a man of dignity. You cannot be a man of integrity, a man of honor, a man of dignity if you are not a man of faith, a man of prayer, and a man of action. You just can't do it. Not in the way God designed for you to do. So you constantly have to keep going back to man of faith, man of prayer, man of action. Out of that will come this. And here's why. To be a man of integrity is to live my life above reproach, leaving Satan no room for blackmail. When everything I say matches everything I do. How many of you experienced satanic blackmail? Do you know what I mean by that? Devil, what was I just talking about in that song? Right? Who do you think you are? If all these guys knew what you did last week, they would never be listening to you right now. If they knew the kind of things you've looked at, the kind of things you think about, you think any of these guys would pay attention to you? That's satanic blackmail. Look at me doing that. So the word reproach, or to be above reproach, is not a word we use much anymore. And the Bible talks about often being above reproach. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that you don't blow it. Again, that's why the satanic guilt can't happen when you do it God's way. Is why I don't do guilt. And that's why I wanted to share that song with you. Because back then I used to do guilt all the time. Guilt monopolized my life. Satanic blackmail was my way of life. I was afraid to do things because Satan would tell me, hey, I'll expose you. I'll let everybody know. And then you'll be embarrassed. You'll be humiliated. They'll know the truth. So I was afraid to do things. I was afraid to speak up because I was afraid that I would be a hypocrite or I'd be all these things. To live above reproach doesn't mean you won't get criticized or exposed or those things come out. What it means is that when you're a man of faith, prayer, and action, you will always be exonerated, that they will be put to shame that falsely accuse your good manner of life in Christ. See, I'm not up there trying to tell everybody that I'm perfect, that I'm doing it all right. I'm trying to tell them that I do it all wrong, and I know a God that forgives me and loves me. And Paul the Apostle said it like this, paraphrase, it's a small thing for me that I should be judged by you. I've been judged by God and found guilty. And He still loves me. See, that's what integrity is. Now, the Gen X definition of integrity is, as long as I don't feel guilty, I'm okay. As long as I think it's okay, as long as I am okay with it, as long as that's your sin, that's my sin, what's yours? I'm okay with that. I have freedom. In 1 Peter, Peter said, act as free men, but don't use your freedom as a covering for evil. Yes, we're free in Christ. But integrity, biblical integrity, is based on a moral code that's outside of yourself. This isn't about you being in harmony with your own values or your own conscience. It's being in harmony with God's design, to even all of that, to a degree that even when I blow it, even when I fail, Satan can't blackmail me because I ain't what I ought to be, but thank God I ain't what I used to be. Amen. That's the whole point. The reason I'm bad at. So let me quickly tell you the difference between satanic guilt and godly conviction. Right? First of all, satanic guilt is based on what you feel, and it always leads to defeat. Godly conviction is based on what you know, and it always leads to victory. See, that's the difference between satanic guilt and godly conviction. It's based on, the last chapter of my book is called Grace, Mercy, and Planned Failure. What is planned failure? It's called practice, right? Think about it. If you don't know you're going to fail, why practice? Right? You practice because you know you're going to fail. You practice because you know you're not perfect. You practice so this isn't going around acting like I got it all together. It's going around saying I don't have it together. That's why I practice the presence of God. That's why I practice reading His Word. That's why I practice being obedient to His Word, right? All right. To be a man of honor is to place doing right above being right. Revealing the character of God through my life. I'm not a man of honor unless you say I am. Now, why? Every time men read that, they always tell me, well, if I'm not a man of honor unless my wife says I am, then forget it. It ain't going to happen. Right? What does that mean? See, you can't honor yourself, can you? My brother, who was supposed to be on this trip, he's in a wheelchair, and he's writing a book. Now, the name of my book is called Living That Matters, Living by God's Design. He's writing his life story, and it's titled Living That Doesn't Matter, Living Outside of God's Design. And he's paralleling every chapter to showing how he violated God's design and the result it had in his life. He was a pastor. He was a brilliant orator. People loved to hear him preach. He was very intelligent. And when he was coming up through the ranks, he was called to be a pastor in a little church in Lovelock, Nevada. Little tiny church, mostly farmers. If you travel from this side of the country to the other side, it's likely you're going to go through Lovelock, Nevada. So I helped him move, and the first weekend he was there, the entire weekend we were unpacking, he's telling me, these people don't know what a deal they got when they got me. Man, I'm telling you, they're going to be blown away. These are all farmers. They've never heard preaching like they're going to hear when I preach. I've got this powerful sermon. I'm going to blow their socks off, and I'm praying and I'm hearing all this. So we get into church that Sunday and he starts preaching, and he is very good. It was this great sermon, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching all the people. It's a little tiny church, country church, and they're like this. And then one of the guys starts going. He's looking at my brother with his watch. And you can see they're not buying it. They're not impressed at all. They just went, get done and let us go home, right? And he could see this too. So as he sees it, he tries to step up the game. And you can see him starting to get flustered. You can see him trying to figure it all out and do this. And the more he tries, the worse it gets. And everybody's just, you could see. By the time he gets done, you could see he's just like all over the map. He's babbling all over his words. He's humiliated, and I can see, and I know him well. I know he's going to crash, and I'm going to spend the rest of the day trying to pull him out of this discouragement. So the service gets done, and I want to get up there and catch him and right away and encourage him. He just steps down off of the stage, off of the platform, and I'm just getting ready to grab him and talk to him. And this elderly deacon in the church, his name was Ray Mercer, he steps in between us. And he grabs my brother's hand and he looks at him and he says, "Preacher, let me give you some advice." And I'm thinking, oh no. Good. He said to my brother, "If you had gone up on that platform the way you came down, you would have come down the way you went up." You get what he's saying? A man of honor places doing right above being right. Just because you're going to win the argument with your wife or with your boss or with whoever, that's nothing. A man of honor can't honor himself, right? Doesn't that miss the whole point? Now, for me, I wrote the book Humility and How I Achieved It. Right? That's the way we act. It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm humble, and my wife better know it, right? We want to win the argument, but revealing the character of Christ, revealing the character of God to our wife, to our family, is a very different thing. It's all based on being a man of integrity. Then you're honored for that way. And then finally to be, and again, look this up so you can get the meat of this. To be a man of dignity. It's another word that we don't use much. You know what the dictionary translates dignity? It's an inherent state or quality of being worthy of respect. You know how you be a man of dignity? By being a man of integrity and a man of honor. Dignity has to do with the way you sound, the way you behave, the way that you carry yourself, right? Dignified, that's the word that we have. The way that you talk is a way that just makes people want to follow you, makes people want to respect you. Not because you tell them to, not because you're the big leader. It has nothing to do with position. Wouldn't it be great if we had any candidate running right now that was dignified, that was a man or woman of dignity? See, we don't have it anymore. It's the way we do it. Again, so to be a man of dignity, if you look on your paper there, is leaving a legacy that my children can be proud of. Not because of me telling them, hey, do what I do, but because you've shown such in the mannerisms, the way that you talk, the way that you purported yourself around them, that's the legacy that they look at. It says, humbly becoming worthy of your respect. Let me tell you something. I know a lot of us, going back to that man of honor, just feel like our wives beat up on us, or they don't get it, or they don't respect us. A truly humble man cannot be humiliated. Do you hear that? A truly humble man can never be humiliated. Why? Because it's not about him. He doesn't see that. That's what it means to be a man of dignity, right? So to be a man of integrity, a man of honor, a man of dignity comes from, you cannot be a man of dignity until you're a man of honor. You can't be a man of honor unless you're a man of integrity. And remember, integrity isn't about following your own conscience. It's about having a moral code. That's the Bible, God's design. It's knowing God's design and making a commitment that that's what you stand for. If it doesn't match up with that, with God's design, you have no integrity. See, because it's not about you. It's clearly about that. And you can't be a man of integrity if you're not a man of action. If you don't want to be criticized, it's very simple. My dad taught me that when I was a kid. If you don't want to be criticized, it's easy. Don't say anything, don't do anything, don't be anything. But being a man of integrity is getting criticized and knowing that you'll be exonerated because of God, because of what He'll do. And you can't be a man of action if you're not a man of prayer, because it's feet to God's answers. And you cannot be a man of prayer if you're not a man of faith. It's not about me, it's about God. Okay? Now, we're going to go right through here, just a short trek, not much climbing and stuff, except the last little part, into a beautiful outlook over the canyon. And then we'll do the final, the relational vows, and then we're going to shout them together over that canyon. Okay? Thank you.
Why didn't you tell me about all this stuff before?
Because I was afraid I'd have to listen to it again.
Well, we got some big birds here.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is this not cool? I want to climb this. I got to get back in better shape than...
On a 1 to 10 scale of rock climbing, that's got to be like 6 or 7.
Not really. No, there's too many good animals. There's a lot. Not bad. That's